Welcome to Shamrock Reddit Stories, where a school locker thief gets help from family and an incompetent principal to commit this small town's crime of the century until one of his victims enacts revenge with a little help of his own. This one's from Denakius, and it's called Dealing with the Locker Thief in High School. This was back in the early 2000s. Probably 2003-2004 school year. Throughout the entire year, there was a crime wave of people having things stolen out of their locked lockers. Not everyone, but enough that everyone knew someone it happened to. The school's only defense about this was that it was our fault for sharing locker combinations with our friends. They also charged us every time we had to get the combination changed on a locker, like after a theft, for instance, because it was assumed to be our fault. Well, I had my graphing calculator stolen out of my locker. I never gave out my combination to anyone, mostly because my friends were jackbutts and we pulled pranks on each other all the time. So I was out $150 for the calculator and another $150 to change the combination, getting a locksmith to change out the lock. This is 2003 money, so it's a bit more than now. To anyone who has ever had to buy a TI-86 in 2003 or 2004, you know how much the darn thing costs. My dad was drinking buddies with one of the county detectives. I'll call him Uncle Buddy. He went in to talk to the school about the string of thefts going on so he could get the security camera for the day my calculator went missing and got completely brushed off as it was a non-existent problem. And he must have given out his locker combination. The principal told him he would need a warrant to get the camera footage. Then when he got the warrant, the school fought the warrant in court, citing student privacy. Cue the ProRevenge. Uncle Buddy shows up at our house with a laptop in a laptop bag. He's like, "Throw this in your locker and tell everyone you know about your brand new laptop." Me, "Okay, sure, Uncle Buddy." 3 days later, I show up at my locker between classes and the laptop is gone. The bag, too, is nowhere to be seen, as is a 24-ounce bottle of Coke and possibly some pens. I take my phone out and text Uncle Buddy that the laptop was taken. Stand by for the crap show. "Oh, and you reported the theft to the police, FYI, he replies back. "Okay," I reply, confused. I went about the rest of my day and I don't hear anything back. The following morning, Uncle Buddy comes to the school with 3 uniformed officers and pull a student, Dave, out of class, as well as his mom, who works in the front office. The principal is peeved. I don't actually hear the cops, but the principal is peeved to no end that he had the audacity to accuse them of theft and he couldn't just take them out of his school, etc., etc. Well, it turns out there was a tracker in the laptop bag and Uncle Buddy got a warrant to search a particular house. The laptop had a value of over $1,000, making it a felony. The next afternoon, he set up a tent with a table just outside of school grounds. He also had a banner across the top of the tent which read, "If you have had something stolen from your locker, come see me." By the next morning, Dave and his mom made it into the local newspaper. Apparently, Dave allegedly used his mom's login information to get onto the school network and get the locker combinations for basically everyone. Then, if he didn't get info of a specific locker to steal from, he would just open random lockers looking for valuables to steal. When Uncle Buddy set up the stand to get more people reporting thefts, he racked up an astounding number of charges on the two. Each locker counted as a separate misdemeanor unless the stolen object was worth more than $1,000, in which case it was a felony. In less than a week, Uncle Buddy opened and broke an investigation and they charged Dave and his mom with 9 felonies and 35 misdemeanor charges. When I finally got the story from Uncle Buddy, he explained what the situation was. He had me stash a brand new laptop that had a GPS tracking unit in my locker to get it stolen deliberately, and then he got a warrant to search the property it had been taken to. Now, the fun thing to stress is that the laptop was over $1,000 value, pushing the theft from a misdemeanor to felony level. There were also another 8 felony charges, stuff like jewelry that was stolen from other people's locker and recovered. So, any of the locker break-ins that amounted to over $1,000 stolen was a felony charge, and less than $1,000 was a misdemeanor charge. The cool thing was that because the calculator and the laptop were separate days, and the combination changed between the days, he caught a felony and a misdemeanor charge off me alone. The 9 felony thefts ended up in the $12,000 range total, and the 35 misdemeanor charges were somewhere in the range of $3,000 total in value. Now that's an awful lot of stuff stolen, but I need to stress that this is only what was proven stolen. Like, this is what they caught him with in his possession that they could trace back to someone. They also didn't let them plead to anything. It was Podunkville's highest profile crime in years, and without a doubt, one of the worst crime sprees the county has seen in decades. Next up on the revenge, everyone who had been charged $150 to get their locker combination changed sued the school district in a class action lawsuit. The justification was that the school did nothing to investigate the 44 proven and more than likely 200 plus cases of locker theft, and then charged money to get the locker combinations changed. There were 218 people in the class, and in total everyone got $85 after attorney's fees. The principal also lost his job for being a bonehead and not bothering to attempt to deal with the massive problem that was reported to him going on at the school. The fun thing that I need to point out is that the school brought in a locksmith to change out the locks. That's how they justified charging $150. Well, the school already paid the $150 a locker, but they also had to return $100 per locker, meaning that they were out $21,800 plus their legal fees for that class action suit. Next comes the criminal trial and the fallout. The prosecutor's deal was 10 years in prison, 5 in juvie and 5 in adult prison for Dave, and 15 years for Dave's mom. Well, they refused that deal and it went to trial. Dave got 1 year prison for each felony, the state minimum, and 1 month probation for each misdemeanor. So 9 years plus 35 months of probation. His mom received 18 years in jail and 6 years of probation. Having attended much of the best parts of the trial, I'll tell you guys this much. They had Dave on camera entering 20 plus lockers, and they had the 2 of them in possession of stolen goods for every single charge they made against them. The judge was also not amused that there was likely other reported crimes that they got away with. Dave's mom got it worse. That was a fun sentencing to show up for. But the most important thing is that I got my graphing calculator back. It had my name engraved inside the battery compartment. I still have it, as well as a cool story to tell. Oh wow, that was some major sentencing for what Seamus and I assume are first-time offenders. I think that I've heard of lighter sentences than that for people convicted of manslaughter. That all comes back to what my dad used to tell me when I stole cookies from the cookie jar as he was banishing me to my room. You do the crime, you do the time. That's it for this one, folks. Quick and easy. Subscribe.